This is Koba-sensei from ITeens Lab. In this video, I'll be explaining how to use Unity software for making 3D and 2D games. This is the 8th installment in our video lecture series. In the previous video, which was the 7th, we used a function called destroy. That's the one that makes objects disappear. Basically, we made a program to make balls vanish. This time, let's look at something called Rigidbody. By using Rigidbody, you can, for example, calculate the gravity acting on objects and more. It also lets you detect when objects collide. Those are some of the features it offers. Unity, in particular, is known for being really good at physics calculations, things like gravity and objects colliding. So, let's make sure we really learn how to use these strengths of Unity. Alright, let's get started. So first, let's go ahead and start a new project. As usual, go to Create New, select the version. If there's no version to choose from, you can just proceed as is. Alright, that's how you do it. Now, next up. Well, since we're dealing with gravity calculations, should I add something like gravity? It means gravity, basically, and let's continue using the 3D template as before. Unity has started up. So, for now, let's go ahead and create some objects from the hierarchy window, just like I'm doing. In the hierarchy window here, right-click and select 3D object. This time, let's go with a sphere. Alright, let's also create one more 3D object, a plane. Let's make two of these. The plane is basically like a flat board. Place this board a bit below the sphere, just like this. Okay, now go ahead and click on the sphere. Alright, so now, as you can see, the inspector for the sphere is displayed here. There's a button called Add Component. Here, type Rigidbody in English to search for it. Yes, Rigidbody. Once you find it, click on it, and the Rigidbody component will be added here. Yes, this is the component that will handle gravity calculations. Now, let's go ahead and press the play button as is. That was a bit hard to see just now. It happened in an instant. Alright, let's do it one more time. Let's go ahead and try it. The ball that's floating will drop straight down. It might still be a little hard to see, so let's try it from a bit higher up. Alright. So, when the ball drops like this, just by adding what's called a rigid body, as you can see, gravity is applied to the ball like this. Now, what I'd like everyone to remember here is this inspector. The inspector window. When you click on this sphere, this is the sphere's inspector, and you'll see various components that make up this object. All these different elements show up, and each one of these is called a component. Each of these individual elements is called a component. Right here, each of these is called a component. If you click here, you can open and close them like this. So, in the inspector, you can see which components are attached to this object. It shows you what the sphere is made up of. Okay. So, this time, we added a component called Rigidbody using the Add Component button. The term component is going to be important later on, so please make sure to remember what a component is for now. In this case, the one we added is the Rigidbody component. And so, with this Rigidbody, when you add a Rigidbody like this, gravity will automatically be calculated. There are also some programs that can only be used when a Rigidbody is attached, so let's take a look at that. Now, we're going to write a script, so right-click in the project window and Create. C# script. Yes, let's make one of these. Now, as for the name, what should I call it? This time, for the name, okay, let's go with Player. Since I want to move this ball from now on, let's name it Player. Alright, now it's open. So, this here is the player script we just created. As you can see, the class name is automatically set to Player. And, as usual, when you create a new script, you get this void start. And you also have this void update. These are included from the start. So this is what it looks like, a completely empty state, just as it is right after you create a script for the first time. Now, from here, I want to try using the rigid body to move the ball a bit. So, first of all, like this. Rigid, body, and player. This is how you set it up. Alright, let's write it like this. So what we're doing here is, with the director, the body, a box to put it in. That's what we're declaring here, right here. Okay, up until now, when we've made variables, it's usually been something like float, speed, or whatever. The thing that comes before the variable name, that's called the type. It's the type of the variable, the type. That's what we call it. There are various types of variables, and depending on what kind of box it is, what you can put inside changes quite a bit. For example, float is a type used to store numbers with decimal points. And for example, if you have int, like int speed 2, that's used to store whole numbers. Now, the variable we just created, playerRB, what kind of type is it? It's basically a box for storing a rigid body. You might be wondering what that means, but in other words, there's this rigid body component attached to the sphere, right? So, what we're doing is putting that component directly into this variable box. Anyway, let's keep moving forward. Next, let's look inside the void start function. playerRB equals getComponent. Rigid body in parentheses. So you might be wondering what this is doing, but basically this means that playerRB is inside the declaration. Yeah, it grabs the component and then assigns it. Right. So the component at that particular time is, it's a rigid body. That's what this part of the program means. So basically, we're putting something into playerRB. What are we putting in? We're using getComponent to grab a component and assign it. What kind of component is it? It's a rigid body. That's the idea. So earlier, we created a container to hold the rigid body. That container is called playerRB. And then, when the game starts, that playerRB container, it uses getComponent to grab the rigid body component from here. So it gets this rigid body component and puts it into the playerRB container. That's what's happening here. Okay, and next, we use addForce on this playerRB that we've just grabbed. That's what happens. And since the argument for addForce is a vector 3, let's use vector 3.forward here. Alright. I'll also write down what this is doing. So, playerRB, the container from earlier, already has the rigid body component we grabbed stored inside it. So, by using the functions of this playerRB, we're basically applying a force. The direction of that force is vector 3.forward, so it's toward the front. That's exactly what this program is doing. This playerRB refers to the rigid body inside it. By using the dot operator like this, you can easily access the functions of the rigid body component. RB lets us access the functions of the rigid body component inside, and among those functions, there's one called addForce, which applies a force. So, we're applying a force forward. Basically, it's like pushing the object forward. Right. But if we need it as is, the force is a bit weak, so let's set it to around 1000 or so. Okay. Now, I'd like to try playing it back. It's not working the way I expected. Just a moment. I'll try playing it again. since there's no change imaging either. I see what's going on. Sorry, I forgot to paste the script. Yes, this script, the player's script. Right, if we don't attach it to the sphere, it won't work. Okay, now the player's script has been attached. Let's check it one more time just to be sure. Looks like this. Fly over. Yes. So, by applying force to the player's rigid body and pushing it forward with a linear force like this, when you hit play, it doesn't just fall down, it shoots forward in the Z direction. That's what it means to apply force. Also, sorry, I kept saying player RB, but it actually says play RB here. It should be player RB. Let me fix that. Let me just fix this problem right here. Alright, thanks for waiting. This part is the force that launches it forward. For example, if I set this to 10,000, let's see what happens if I make it big. I'll play it now. Oh wow, it really flew far. Just like that. Okay, so now you can control this part. Let's make the ball's power a public variable. Let's set it as a public, int power. Alright, with this, we've created a box called power to store an integer. And here, let's set it to 10,000. Now, let's replace that value with power. Then save it, and over here, this sphere, let's check its inspector. If you look at the sphere's inspector, there it is. Now you can set the power. Maybe let's set it to around 500. Is 500 too low? Alright, it just kind of bounced up a bit, didn't it? Yeah, something like that. So now, you can control the energy from here like this. Next time, I'd like to try making the sphere roll a little. Well, that's it for this video. Thank you very much. Alright everyone, great job. How did you find today's content? Rigid bodies are pretty interesting, aren't they? With this rigid body feature, you can actually make simple game-like things without having to write much code. As you get used to using rigid bodies, I think you'll find that the range of things you can do in Unity really expands. So, I definitely encourage you to learn about rigid bodies. Next time, we'll take an even closer look at rigid bodies. Alright then, see you in the next video. Bye bye.